Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show podcast, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm joined in studio today by Ray Ora, Jonathan Voico,
Hello.
Chris Carr is here.
Hi, guys.
And most importantly, you're here. Thanks so much for being here, making this little show part of your day. Here's how the show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a bunch of predetermined topics that we have listed off. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your comments and questions. How do you get a comment or question on the show? It's easy. Use our tip link anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. And as long as we deem your question appropriate to be addressed on the show, we'll address it on the show. By the way, as you guys may have noticed, the last few days, we have not been doing the John Campea Show live. Our one and only internet service provider in our area is Spectrum, and they are the absolute worst. No one should ever use them if you have the choice. But we've been having massive problems with them not getting enough upload speed in order to do the streams live. This problem's been going on for over a week. Hopefully we'll be back live very shortly. But for now, pre-recorded we'll have to do. And let's get to some pre-recording, shall we? By starting off talking about this. Now, you may have noticed that, remember that over 5 years ago, Marvel announced a Blade movie with Mahershala Ali. And it may have skipped your, attention that we still don't have that movie. Every other movie that they announced at that event has been shot, edited, put out in theaters, and is out on home video. All of the other ones, but not Blade. Look, they've had a lot of drama with writers and directors and all this kind of stuff, and even some doubtful language coming from Kevin Feige recently that has led some people to believe that very quietly, Marvel has already canceled Blade. But according to one Marvel executive, Brad Winderbaum, who's like the head of Disney Plus and all Marvel things streaming and all that kind of stuff, he just made a comment talking about Agatha All Along. They're promoting that show right now. Mm-hmm. He just made a comment that made it sound like, listen, Blade's still alive. This is what Brad Winderbaum said. He said this: I think that it goes back to the filmmaker's intent. The horror on screen in Agatha is going to be different than the horror on screen in Marvel Zombies, which is going to be different than the horror on screen in Blade. It was different than the horror on screen in Moon Knight. It really depends on the vision of the filmmaker and on what horror cues you're pulling from. And that's not just unique to horror. It's unique to any genre we're playing with. Obviously, there's many different ways to tell a story. All right. So, in today's big bow gift wrap package for Ray Ora comes the suggestion that maybe, just maybe, Blade might still be alive. Now, to be fair, Kevin Feige has been talking recently about that they're committed to Blade. They want to make it the best thing they can. They don't want to rush it out the door. They want to take their time with it. And
Well, they've accomplished that.
Yeah.
Ray just giggles. Ray just laughs.
Take their time, okay?
You don't want to, because 5 years might be rushing it. They want to get it right. So it does sound like it's still alive. But I want to throw this out there. I think we are now in danger of being in the same situation with Blade that we were in with Edgar Wright's Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm, where it's moved on from the story.
Exactly. Remember, Edgar Wright was going to make Ant-Man, but they made that announcement prior to the MCU really getting up and running. And then after some delays, the MCU had already gotten pretty far into its development, and all of a sudden now, the movie they agreed to make with Edgar Wright no longer really fit in with the MCU with where it was at. And ultimately and amicably, Edgar Wright left, Peyton Reed came in, made a great Ant-Man movie. But, and I feel like we're kind of in the same spot with Blade now. Like 5 years ago, they may have thought, we're going to make this kind of Blade movie. Can that really happen? Mahershala Ali's not getting any younger. So, I don't know, Chris, I think this is an encouraging thing to hear. Like, it sounds like it's very casual. Oh, yeah, it's like the kind of horror we're going to get in Blade. So it sounds like it's almost a foregone conclusion to him that we're going to get the Blade movie. Should be pointed out, though, that Winderbaum is not a part of the Marvel theatrical team.
That was what I was going to say.
But, he's still saying it's coming. Feige still says it's coming.
Yeah.
How much credence should we get this comment from Winderbaum?
I mean, everything with a grain of salt, right? Because there's two schools of thought here. Is that Deadpool theoretically already told us that we're not going to have Blade. with the "there's only ever going to be one blade."
Mm-hmm.
And then we
But
have
that was a
people-
joke because Deadpool looked at the screen like, who's going to tell him?
sure.
Or was it?
But also maybe not. Who's to say? This all just feels very. There's a wonderful phrase in the South called "fixin'." I'm fixing to do that. I'm fixing to get that done because time is nebulous and a construct that we've all made up. So there's no actual timelines for anything. And that's how I feel about the Blade movie. Is at some point in time there will be a Blade movie with horror that is specific to Blade. Is it this movie?
The
Is
one
it with this
Mahershala
man?
Ali.
Who's to say? And that's how this all feels right now, which is just a bummer because Ray, I know, is really excited about this movie. And honestly, Mahershala Ali might be getting younger. He actually could be a real vampire because the dude looks great.
Yep.
He is aging very, very wonderfully. But all those stunts, all those other things, plus you have all the production people that they still need to put in place, solidifying how this movie's going to move forward.
Theoretically, we still don't even have a script.
No. Oh, and we're still saying that this is like maybe going to come out in 2025? No.
Oh, no
There's
chance.
no world.
No
There's no
chance.
world. So I really am hopeful that this movie is going to happen. And this does give me a little boost of encouragement, but it also does feel like a soundbite that is just, yeah, there will be a Blade
To me,
movie
it's
at some
like
point.
it's like even if they fit it into the MCU, is this going to be a Shang-Chi issue where like we see him finally we get Blade, but the next one's not for like 6-7 years.
Honestly,
so
we're
then what's
probably
the
going to get Shang-Chi before we
well,
get
no, well, and then it's just like, what's the point if you're going to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, and then where he says, obviously, there's many different ways to tell a story. One is not to tell it at all.
that's
So-
one way.
That's the problem.
It's
We
one
have
way
too
to
many
go about it.
screenwriters, we have
Now
too many
this
stories.
update, it came from someone interviewing the man, right? And asking,
Yeah.
I would have felt a lot better if Marvel just came out and gave an update, meaning like they've been hearing all the rumors, the cancellation rumors,
Well,
and
Kevin
they wanted
Feige
to put a
has,
stop.
though.
They wanted to put a stop to it, like if
Kevin
they.
Feige has given that update. He
Oh,
said,
okay.
listen, we're still working on it.
Okay.
He said, we just want to make sure we get it right. I mean, that's the update. I mean, but you're right, Kurt. There's no way it's making that 2025 date. Now, as far as time being a fake construct, I got some graying in my hair up here that would suggest otherwise. But whatever. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about the Marvel exec is saying, hey, this Blade movie still be alive. It's gonna come. But is it the Mahershala Ali one, or does he maybe not know what he's talking about? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? By now, most of us had seen that little teaser announcement trailer. It was 15 seconds long. That came out for the upcoming Hulu series, Alien Earth. Where it's just, the Earth, and then the camera pulls back and you see it's a reflection on Earth on the head of a xenomorph, right? It's just a little announcement thing. It's not really a trailer. It's not even a teaser. It's an announcement. Well, they've now fully released that in HD quality and all that kind of stuff. And we've now got our first understanding of what the story of this new Alien Earth series is going to be. This comes to us from Deadline, who wrote the following. The quick clip shows an angry and feral xenomorph with dark, sharp teeth and lips dripping with drool. But is that actually drool or could it be blood? You'll find out in 2025 when the series premieres only on Hulu. At least one thing is for sure. Xeno is hangry. Oh, what clever writing.
Oh, boy.
Well done, Deadline. Anyway, then comes the little story. Here it is. When a mysterious space vessel crash lands on Earth, a young woman, Sydney Chandler, and a ragtag group of tactical soldiers make a fateful discovery that puts them face to face with the planet's greatest threat. Now, this show's being done by Noah Hawley, who did Legion and was going to be doing that Doom movie. Remember Fox? Everybody forgets this now. Fox greenlit a Dr. Doom movie before Marvel bought them and that all died. Now, Noah Hawley was saying recently that I could be doing this series for the next 10 years. This is not like a limited series. This is not like a short story. Hulu and Hawley are saying this is planned out to be a long-term series. They want to do this for multiple seasons. How many seasons of a xenomorph can you do? I'm not really sure, but it's going to be interesting to see, especially if they can make it up to the quality or better.
Up until college.
Oh yeah, the college years. Yeah, the next
Up until
class.
college.
Yeah.
Man, I remember when the alien had his first beer. So, I mean, yeah, they could be doing that. Anyway, look, I'm looking forward to this show. I was not until I saw Alien Romulus. I certainly wasn't. If you had mentioned an Alien series to me before I saw Prey, I would have said that's the dumbest thing in the world. But here we are. Look, I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but you got a good storyteller at the helm. We're coming off an enjoyable Alien Romulus, so maybe this is something to be excited about. Anyway, Chris, you hear the story outline for it here. What does that do for you, and what your anticipation is for this series?
Meh. I mean, to be completely fair and transparent, I did not see Alien Romulus because everyone told me, you can't see that. You'll cry so hard.
Yeah.
One day, maybe. And I do like the Alien movie, and I really liked playing the Alien game.
Yeah.
That one was fantastic. It was terrifying, where you'd like breathe and the alien could actually hear you. Oh my God. But I was interested in this mostly because of Timothy Olyphant, because he's such a great actor, and I will watch anything that he does and give that a go.
Yeah.
I am intrigued. I gotta say, Jonathan really summed up my feelings about this trailer before the show started today, though, of it's so 90s looking.
Very.
It feels
Those, yeah.
like those old, like, Matthew Broderick Godzilla promos almost.
The jump cuts to zoom into it was
Yeah.
like, is this a Sega commercial from the 90s?
It feels like that mixed with, like, American Horror
Or like
Story.
Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's wild. It's the new generation of Alien. The new generation.
That's how it kind of feels. Yeah. It's such a small clip, right? It's 15 seconds.
15
I need
seconds.
to see more to get actually excited about that.
And the show could, I mean, we don't know when in 2025 it's coming
Yeah.
up. I mean, the show could still be a full year away, but we'll find out. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, now we've got a good look at that little announcement spot that they put out. And what do you think about the little story details they're giving us? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down. Let's talk about this, shall we? Of course, Deadpool and Wolverine, #1 again at the box office, by the way, this past weekend. One of the biggest films of all time, by far the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. Well, if that excites you, there are still a bunch of R-rated films coming out in the rest of 2024 between now and the end of the year. And I had one of our viewers write to me and say, John, what would you say are your most anticipated R-rated films? I thought that's an interesting question. You know, it's so interesting. I think we'll address it on the show. So while there are more than 10 R-rated films still coming out, I thought we would go over what I consider to be the 10 most anticipated R-rated films still to come out this year. And they're in no particular order except for #1 and 2. So all the rest I'm about to mention are not in any kind of order, but when I get to #2 and #1, those are in order. I'm going to start off by saying this. A film that did not make the list, but I have to at least give honorable mention to, is Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis. I'm sorry, I can't get that excited for it. I can't. I think the trailers look jumbled and ridiculous, and I'm not hearing great things about it. Well, John, why even give it an honorable mention? Because it's Francis Ford Coppola. I can't not at least give it an honorable mention. So I will be going to go see Megalopolis, but it's not going to make my 10 most anticipated R-rated list. All right, let's start off with this. Remember, these first bunch are in no particular order. Going to start off with the upcoming Dave Bautista film, The Killer's Game. They first showed us previews for this at CinemaCon. And you know what? Does this look like an Oscar winner? Absolutely not. But it looked like fun. You know what it reminded me of? What was it? What was the one with John Cusack?
Point blank. Gross Point Blank.
Gross Point Blank. That's
I love
it.
Gross Point Blank.
So did I. It's got a little bit of a Gross Point Blank kind of feel to it. I love seeing Dave Bautista and Pom Clemente, who of course are Drax the Destroyer and Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy, seeing them together again. I think this is going to be a fun little movie. I don't think it's going to be awesome. I don't think it's going to be a movie we talk about for 5 years, but it looks like it's fun. So I'm going to put that on the list. Next up, one I am very excited about, Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. This is the guy who did Witch, who did The Lighthouse, who did The Northman, that's my favorite movie of his, is Northman. And now he's got Nosferatu coming. The trailer looked baller. Cannot wait to go see this. So Nosferatu. Next up, some of you may not have even heard of this. Memoir of a Snail.
I hadn't. I was like, what?
This has been playing the festival circuit, and it's coming out later this year. It currently holds a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, granted, there's not a lot of reviews, but the reviews that are included are Variety, Deadline, The Hollywood Reporter, Guardian, and they're all praising it if you haven't seen the trailer, go watch the trailer. There's a great line in it, beautiful line in it that says this: life can only be understood backwards, but has to be lived forwards. Life can only be understood backwards, but has to be lived forwards. I love that line. It looks charming and endearing. And it was kind of surprising to find out that it's rated R. So I don't know what other kind of stuff they're going to have in it, but that looks great. Memoir of a Snail is on my list. Also, up next, speaking high critic ratings, this one has a 92% right now. In what a lot of critics are saying is Demi Moore's best performance of her career, The Substance. I watched the trailer for this a couple days ago, and I can't wait to watch this. So the principle looks kind of straightforward, right? Demi Moore is an aging Hollywood star that she's realizing the older she gets, she's becoming less relevant. So she gets offered this drug that I don't know if it just makes her younger or even I don't know if she's supposed to look like a younger version of herself or she's just like a totally new person. But when she takes this drug, I think for 7 days, her body transforms into this. But clearly, as with any movie, complications come. And that's kind of the hook of it. It looks great. I haven't seen it yet, but the critics who have seen it are raving about it. So The Substance is the one, and I think it's coming out in a couple of weeks. Doesn't have a big marketing campaign, but it's coming out in a couple of weeks. All right. Next up for the R-rated anticipated films for this year. This is another one that we got our first glimpse of it at CinemaCon back in April in Vegas. The new James McAvoy film, Speak No Evil. I remember they showed us the trailer for this, and at first it looked like kind of a fun couples comedy kind of thing for the first 15 seconds, and then it's like, oh no, that's not what this is. McAvoy looks more psychotic than he does in Split. And by the way, it's a Halt and Catch Fire reunion of Mackenzie Davis and Scoot McNairy. I love. If you haven't seen Halt,
I didn't think about that.
I really like that show. That show was really great. Lee Pace was in that one too.
Uh-huh.
So Speak No Evil. Make sure you go check it out. And the next one is a screw all of you. I'm putting this on my list. Craven the Hunter. Screw everyone.
It's nice to have dreams.
It's nice to play make believe.
That's good.
I am choosing to believe this is going to be the Sony Spider-Verse's more equivalent to Venom than it is to Madam Web. I am choosing to believe that. I mean, after all, this movie does significantly better writers than Madam Web did, or Morbius. It has a better director than it did. And, it's got Ricky Tikki-Taki. What's his name?
Yeah.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Ricky
Ricky
Tikki-Taki.
Tikki-Taki.
That's freaking amazing.
Well,
every time.
I don't know why I can always remember Ricky Tikki-Taki, but I can't remember Aaron Taylor Johnson. So you know what? Don't care. I've got it on my list. I'm super looking forward to it.
it's going to be their Citizen Kane.
The new Citizen Kane of the Sony Spider-Verse universe. All right. Got 4 left to go. Next up, Gladiator 2. Now, there might be some people who are surprised that it's not one of my top 2. I just can't. Because if you take out Martian, Ridley Scott, I'm sorry, I got to say it. He's been terrible for the last 15 years. And I just can't. Now, Martian was a huge exception. That movie is a masterpiece. Love it. But that movie has now very quietly become an old movie. Passage of time? Yeah. Think about that. The Martian is now an old movie. Anyway. But you know what? It's still Gladiator. It's still that world of Gladiator. You got Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal. I mean, it's the continuation of the story of the original, and take it for what it's worth. But Ridley Scott is saying that he thinks it's the best movie he's ever made. How true is that? I'm not sure. But again, Ridley Scott's recent history means I can't actually rank it high and put it in one of my top 2 spots. But I'm still very interested in it, and I hope it's even half as good as the original Gladiator.
I mean, if Napoleon had knocked it out of the park, we would have been like, this is going to be great.
Oh, if Napoleon had knocked it out of the park, if The Last Duel had knocked it out of the park, if The House of Gucci had knocked it out of the park, if The Counselor had knocked it out of the park, if Robin Hood had knocked it out of the park.
I didn't mean to start the engines here.
This is the one right here.
This is it. This is it.
He's learned from his mistakes.
Yeah.
After mistake after mistake. But again, and by the way, I'm not taking anything away from Ridley Scott. That dude is a first ballot Hall of Famer. His place in Hollywood history is already firm and secure. He's one of the greats, but it's got to call what it is. He should have retired probably 15 years ago. Hopefully Gladiator 2 will change our minds on that. All right. Last film on the list that's not in one of my top 2 spots is the winner of the prestigious Palme d'Or Award at the Venice Film Festival, or at the Cannes Film Festival, I mean, Anora. This looks like a more modern, more R-rated Pretty Woman in a way, where a young stripper slash sometimes
Sex
prostitute
worker. Yeah.
Dancer. Yeah.
Sex worker.
Oh yeah, sex worker.
who has the son of a Russian crime family, maybe fall in love with her and wants, I mean, so there's something precious kind of about it, but at the same time, it looks like it could get very, very dark.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about this.
Again, winning the Palme d'Or this is the same award that Parasite won a couple of years ago, right? That means this movie is no joke. And so, you know what? I saw the trailer for it. I'm down. I mean, I think it looks really, really interesting depending on how they take that dark twist. Anyway, that leads us into our top 2. Remember, all the other ones were in no particular order. Here's my top 2. In my number 2 spot, screw all ya, Venom: The Last Dance.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited about that.
I'm so excited
I'm
for this
really
movie.
excited. I love Venom.
I love Venom, and I think I love the trailer for this. I mean, I don't care. Some people groaned at it, but when they look at the horse and goes, how fast can you make that go? And Venom's like, only one way to find out. Or how fast can you make it go without killing it?
Right.
Only one way to find out. Boom. I love that. I love the other 2 Venom movies. I mean, 1 more than 2. 2 was a dip down, but I still enjoyed it. But I loved 1. And I'm excited for this last one. So Venom: The Last Dance is number 2. No surprise to anybody, though, what my number 1 is. Joker, Folie à Deux, Joker 2. I absolutely adored the first one. You brought back the same team to make this one. You added Lady Gaga to it, who, you know what? She's become one of the great exceptions to music stars making the transition. Granted, she grew up in drama her whole life, but still one of the few musicians who's been able to really awards level, been able to make that transition. Not many have. Where, like, her performance in A Star is Born and whatever we may think about House of Gucci, she was great in it. And I think she's going to do great here. So that is my number 1. So just to recap quickly, here's the 10. I got The Killer's Game, Nosferatu, Memoir of a Snail, The Substance, Speak No Evil, Craven the Hunter, Gladiator 2, Anora, and in my top 2 spots, Venom: The Last Dance and Joker 2. Chris, I want to just check with you. Is there any that you might add to the list that I left off, or are there any here that really stand out to you? What do you think?
Yes, there are 2 I would add to the list. One of which I think will surprise you. Actually, both of them might. I actually have a spooky guy on mine. The Heretic, the Hugh Grant movie.
Oh.
Where it's 2
Yep.
missionaries come into his house and they get trapped there. And it's this very sinister cat and mouse game that looks very intriguing and so uncomfortable. And then the other one is Amy Adams' Night Bitch.
Night Bitch.
Night Bitch seems fun. I'm going to go see Sonic first, but then I'm going to go see Night Bitch.
You know what? I should have given an honorable mention to Night Bitch,
I'm
because
super pumped about that.
I'm like, is this a mental thing, or does she literally turn into a dog in the movie?
Yeah.
But I am shocked in both of you. You guys forgot
What is it?
Blade?
Paddington in Peru. Come on.
That's
not
rated
our-
R.
It's gonna be rated R.
But what if it was?
The original title is Paddington Fucks
From
in
the
Peru.
twisted minds that brought you Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, comes Paddington 3. No.
Paddington kills Peru.
What is it that Paddington likes to eat?
Marmalade.
Marmalade.
Yeah, marmalade
but in
and
this one, it's
blood
the
and
flesh.
marmalade.
He always keeps a marmalade sandwich under his hat.
Murderlade.
Marmalade.
Come on.
Yeah,
Okay, bye.
those are ones that I'd add on there. To be fair, too, a whole bunch of these, I'm going to see them. I'm just not as excited as you are to see them.
If there was 1 or 2 on here that you were really excited about, what would they be?
Ooh, Anora. That one seems really,
looks
really
so
interesting. And then, yeah, that little snail one. Oh my god.
Memoir of a Snail.
Memoir of a Snail, especially because it is what makes this very charming looking thing rated R. Is it
Yeah.
language? Is there claymation nudity? What's happening? Is it wild violence? Because you can get away with a lot in animation that
Yes, you can.
usually gets you a lower rating. So I'm interested to see what they do with that.
And again, I gotta say, The Substance. This looks really cool.
There's already eye stuff in the trailer. I'm gonna be.
But it wasn't eye violence.
No, but it's just creepy stuff.
Okay, but still creepy.
It's still too close on an eye, and I get scared.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this list that I have of the 10 most anticipated R-rated films still to come this year? Would you put them in any kind of an order? What do you think of my top 2? Are there any others that maybe you thought I should have included on the list? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we still got to talk about a couple things, including a report out there that Josh Brolin may be playing Hal Jordan in the upcoming Green Lantern series. And hallelujah, we may not have Blade, but we do have a Minecraft movie trailer, and it's awful. We're going to talk about that and a few things more, but before we do, we're going to take a couple quick seconds here, thank a couple of sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, our friends at PrizePicks and Miracle Made. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. And PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. PrizePicks is the best way to get action on sports in most states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. You see, PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. And I was pleasantly surprised by just how quick and easy it was to get set up and registered and ready to go. Here's a couple of examples of picking your more or less. Tyreek Hill for more than 90 receiving yards, Dak Prescott for more than 263 passing yards, and CeeDee Lamb for more than 96 receiving yards. So guys, download the PrizePicks app today and use the code Campea and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code Campea on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks. Run your game. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Miracle Made. Guys, it's hot outside and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. So if you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. There are just so many things that make these sheets so fantastic. We already mentioned the self-cooling properties for better quality sleep, but they're also self-cleaning. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. So go to trymiracle.com/Campea. That's TRYMIRACLE.com/Campea to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Campea at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Campea and use the code Campea to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Campea to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. And thank you to our friends at PrizePicks and Miracle Made for sponsoring today's episode. All right, guys, with that down, let's move into this, shall we? One of the big anticipated things coming out of the brand new DC universe is an HBO Max series about the Green Lanterns. Now, we already know who one Green Lantern is. The Green Lantern in the comics, there is one of the Green Lanterns by the name of Guy Gardner, and that's being played by Nathan Fillion. Everybody's excited about that. But of course, like the quintessential main Green Lantern is Hal Jordan. Mm-hmm. And we understand that this series, Green Lantern series, is going to kind of primarily revolve around the 2 most popular Green Lanterns, which is Hal Jordan and John Stewart. Well, there's a report going around by a guy who's appeared on our show a number of times, our friend Jeff Snyder from the Insnyder, who is now reporting that DC is looking at Josh Brolin to play Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, in that upcoming series. This comes to us from the good folks over at Joe Blow, who write the following. Comicbook.com is reporting that according to the podcast The Insnider, which is, of course, Jeff's podcast, there is talk of Brolin being offered the role of Jordan, who was the subject of Reynolds' Green Lantern film. These are currently rumors and nothing concrete has been confirmed. In the HBO adaptation, Jordan is paired up with another Lantern, John Stewart. Stewart is yet to be cast. However, Black Adam's Aldous Hodge, who portrayed Hawkman, has voiced John Stewart in animated productions and is in the market to play the crossover. So Aldous would like to play that. But we'll talk about Aldous another time. By the way, I love Aldous Hodge. He's great. Let's talk about this Josh Brolin thing. If this is true, and you got to take that with a huge grain of salt, if it's true, Jeff is often right, but sometimes wrong. So if this is true, it's really surprising me, because I thought they would go with somebody, again, Ryan Reynolds' age, maybe even a little bit younger, right? For Hal Jordan. I even saw some discussion online and headlined in some outlets saying, wait a minute, if you didn't want to have an older Superman, what? Because, you want to be able to have somebody who's younger, can play for a long time. Why are you starting with Josh Brolin? And I get it. But here's what this tells me. And I could be right and I could be wrong. I'm speculating here. But I love that image. What it kind of tells me is that in this universe, because remember, Green Lantern is different than Superman. Superman is a person. Green Lantern is a uniform. I mean, it's an organization. There are many, many Green Lanterns. And apparently, at minimum, 4 from Earth. You got Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner, John Stewart, Hal Jordan. I think there was a female one too. But anyway, at minimum 4 from Earth, and there's thousands of others. So there are lots of Green Lanterns. I wonder if they are casting Josh Brolin, if what they're saying is that Hal Jordan is the elder Green Lantern.
Wizened.
He's the sheriff. He's the old sheriff on the block. And we are also going to be introduced to younger Green Lanterns. Again, we already know Guy Gardner's going to be there. We already know John Stewart's going to be there. I'm going to assume at some point we'll get a Kyle Rayner as well. So if he's like the guy who's been around and doing it the longest, and he's kind of like the head sheriff of the Earth universe's Green Lanterns, and he's kind of mentoring these other ones, maybe they could be going for something like that. It also makes me wonder if it is being played by Josh Brolin, if Hal Jordan's Green Lantern dies in this HBO Max series. So I'm not sure. Anyway, Chris, you hear about this. What would you think of a Josh Brolin being a Hal Jordan Green Lantern? What, if anything, does that tell you about what the story here could be? And could you see him as a long-term Hal Jordan?
It feels a bit of a Maverick kind of choice here, right? Of having the older former hotshot pilot in the mix. And I think you can do that. I don't think you have to bring in a whole bunch of young blood here. We also have to remember that Josh Brolin is 56. Nathan Fillion's 53. He might not look it, but he's 53 years old.
I would never think that Josh Brolin is only 3 years older than Nathan Fillion.
Right?
Woo.
So if we are looking at having him be in more of a mentor position, or traditionally with the Green Lanterns, right, somebody dies a lot of times. So if we do lose Josh Brolin, we do want someone a little older and wiser. I think there's tons of actors who could absolutely play Hal. The thing I'm worried about with Josh Brolin is he's not exactly known for his comedic quips. He's great in interviews, but he usually plays like grizzled, tough guys.
Did you see his Saturday Night Live appearance?
Oh yeah, he's great on that.
He was actually pretty good on that.
He does a good job. I always imagined a lot of the Green Lantern guys to be, except for Stewart, because he is a very like solemn kind of character,
right?
To be a little bit quippier. And so in my brain, it was somebody more like, I don't know, like a James Marsden or something in there, popping in there. I think he'd do a great job, though. It's really just comes down to how they write this character and what the script is. I don't know if he would be long for this world. I feel like it is more of he'd be a guest star or a series regular for one season and then go bye-bye.
And by the way, we could also be getting like the way they did with Ben Affleck's Batman. This could be now an older, more seasoned, maybe a little bit more jaded, a little more grizzled Hal Jordan than before. So it might be a different kind of like, because I'm with you. My first thought was the Ryan Reynolds portrayal, and they just transpose that onto cable. But maybe that's the way they're not going to go. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Let's say the story is true. What do you think about Josh Brolin playing Hal Jordan? I think it could be very, very interesting going that sort of route. Or were you hoping for a younger Hal Jordan so we could have Hal and John and Guy and Kyle like protecting the Earth together for years to come? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Oh, happy day. The one that fans have been counting down for. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know it was coming out. A first trailer for the Minecraft movie has come out with Jason Momoa, Jennifer Coolidge from, what's the show? White Lotus? That she's winning Emmys for. Danielle Brooks, who I love in Peacemaker. Jack Black, who is Jack Black. The first trailer for this movie is dropped. I'm not going to lie to you. I have not exactly been excited for the Minecraft movie. I've never played Minecraft, although I've often thought about picking it up and trying it because it's got a lot of fans. A lot of people love Minecraft. But it's not exactly, I wasn't exactly excited about it. But the trailer now arrived. And now I'm really not excited for this movie. This trailer is terrible. Now, I'm not saying the movie's going to be terrible. Many times we've seen trailers that are bad to movies and TV shows that sometimes we end up really liking or loving. So the movie might be great. I'm not saying it won't be. This trailer, though, is awful. Nothing in it made me smile. Nothing made me remotely laugh. Like, if you're going to do a movie like this and you're going to put out the first trailer, you want to get something that's going to hook people. Like, put in your, maybe not your funniest joke, but one of your funniest gags or something like that. Something that's going to get people engaged in the trailer. This, the block sheep is chewing funny. And then it pauses and then continues to chew funny. Ha ha ha. Jack Black says, I am Steve, which is a direct ripoff of Holy Grail. Said, there are those who call me Tim. And I'll tell you what, the way this trailer played, I'm not saying that the movie will play this way. This just felt like a Jumanji ripoff.
Oh, I said this. I told Ray, I was like, this feels like Jumanji Reloaded or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and that was even before Jack Black showed up in it.
No.
It just felt like a Jumanji ripoff. Mm-hmm. As oh ha ha, Jason Momoa's in a funny outfit. Oh, the girl said this guy's a tool bag.
I hated that part.
Nothing was funny. Nothing looked exciting. Like, guys, even if this is a terrible movie, a half-decent trailer company should be able to put together a minute and a half of something that looks modestly interesting. We always say in this show, the job of a trailer is to take your excitement level for a movie, however low or how high it is, and bump it up a couple of notches. I sit here today, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in film fandom, less interested in this movie now than I was a couple of hours ago.
Yeah.
It was awful. Chris, you saw the trailer. What did you think?
It's so bad. It's so bad. Why? And just also, like Jason Momoa decided that he too wanted little bangs. All right. Okay. I don't understand.
He looks like he's going for like some kind of Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Like
we've got the same haircut basically right now.
With a little bit of hair metal mixed in there.
No, it's more like a guy who never grew out of his high school years. We've seen that character.
When?
Name one movie.
Name 100 movies.
I love Jack Black, and then him showing up in this, doing they call me Steve. I'm decidedly so uninterested in this. And I remember when we first reported on this, of all of us going, wait, a live action movie? For why? For why are they doing that? They did a great job on Super Mario Brothers. I don't know why you need people in Minecraft. I don't know why you need humans in Minecraft.
Well,
just let it be a Minecraft movie.
To be fair, if that was all animated, it wouldn't have made it any better.
Probably not.
To be fair.
No. But I still am trying to figure out why these people are here and why I should care about them. And I know this was a teaser, but everything about this made me go, no, thank you.
I like the wolf with the square moon, though.
The what?
The wolf with the square moon right here.
It's a very cute image.
It's cute.
I do like the the Minecraft parts of the trailer, as in just visually, I think it looks great. Like just the world and the actual animals. For them to bring those out like they have in this trailer, I think it looks great. But any of the human stuff, just you're
Fell
right.
flat.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny.
Yeah, it fell flat. I mean, I have two thoughts on this. So, in terms of trailer, this reminds me of the Emoji Movie trailer, where we were like, those are all landing flat.
And that's one of the worst, if not maybe the worst animated film of all time.
If this movie is good, it feels like a bit of Angry Birds to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Angry Birds crossed with Jumanji.
Yeah.
That's what which is fine if you do
it's-
it well.
If it's entertaining, I say it could possibly do a 3 to 350, which is what Angry Birds did. Angry Birds 2 did like 147 or something like that. So if it gets like over 250, I think cool 300 should be the goal of this movie. Is kind of my thoughts right now.
That makes sense.
I don't see, if they don't put out better trailers than this, I don't think they make
No.
30.
That was
I mean,
woof.
this is and again, I need to reemphasize this. We're not saying that the movie's bad. We're not saying the movie's going to be bad. We're just saying we're only talking about the trailer, and the trailer is bad. But I don't know, guys. What do you think? I mean, maybe there are those of you out there who thought it was a solid, good trailer. Maybe there are those of you who said, yeah, the trailer's terrible, but I love Minecraft, so I'm still excited for the movie. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is taking your questions, which I need to step away to take care of some technical issues, but Chris and Jonathan and Ray are going to answer your questions. But before we do, we're going to take a quick moment and thank another sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, my mobile service provider, and they should be yours, Mint Mobile. You know when you discover a new binge-worthy show or a song that you bump on repeat and you have to share it with your friends so they can experience just how awesome it is? That's kind of what it feels like when you discover that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. It's such an awesome deal, there is no way you can keep it to yourself. My last mobile service provider was quite good, but ever since I switched to Mint Mobile, I've enjoyed even better coverage, better phone clarity, and I'm paying less than a third of what I paid to my old provider. Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bills to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions may apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
And thank you to Mint Mobile for making this show possible. Thanks so much. When you use those codes, remember, it helps us out and it helps you out. We love that. Jonathan, what questions do we have?
Well, first up, we've got Maurice Seifring, who says, since Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars are a part of the multiverse saga, do you think they will pull in an Agent Coulson for a last appearance?
Ooh.
I kind of forgot about Coulson.
I don't think they will, just because he's died several times and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of petered out, but maybe they could. I love him.
Yeah, I
He's
wouldn't
great.
be surprised
Yeah.
if Marvel did something
I mean,
like that.
If there was like a little bit more, they could have delved into like the time travel stuff. It would have been kind of cool to see him again. But
Yeah.
was he or was he not in Endgame where they went back in time to the invasion?
I can't remember if we saw
I can't remember if he was standing there because I don't remember a pop from the audience. So I could be right. I could be wrong about that.
We did see him in the Captain Marvel movie too. So
Yes.
I mean, if we do play around with that kind of stuff and do some more 90s things, maybe,
Sure.
but I don't know if he'll be there. Tony's back though, so anything's possible.
Yeah. Yasmar says, what's with the reports of 10-minute standing ovations at Venice? That just happens. Don't people's hands hurt clapping that long? Is there an official timekeeper? Surely the actors don't want to stand there waving for 10 minutes. It's like being sung happy birthday 30 times.
It's my dream.
It's every actor's dream. Are you kidding?
Applaud me for
You
10
do realize
minutes straight.
we're speaking of actors
Actors.
here who thrive on that
Most
energy.
of us are Tinkerbells. We'll die without the applause. Give it to us.
I noticed every time there's no real evidence or like video footage, it's always 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, you think that's just kind of their generic number they go
Yeah,
with?
it's just 10 minutes. It's like, come on. No one claps that long.
Yeah. We'll
We're
show
already
them.
leaving. We're leaving the stadium already.
It does always strike me as odd and maybe a little insincere just because we'll hear about these huge long-standing ovations and then the reviews come out and people dislike movies. And so
Yeah.
it does feel like a lot of times it's them giving, like Harrison Ford, giving him his flowers for Indiana Jones, even though then they reamed that movie.
Maybe
So it just feels like you can't trust it.
Maybe the rumor starts with the person who just sat behind
I
someone
love
who
rumors.
happened to stand up and applaud for 10 minutes. Just one person.
There was one guy, they couldn't get him out of there. All right. Up next, we got Virginia guy. Thoughts on Michael Jordan adding another championship title to his name as a NASCAR team owner? Albeit for the regular season, he was pacing and visibly nervous whenever they cut to him during the race at Darlington this past weekend. I don't know. I didn't know he was. I didn't know he owned it.
I didn't know either, but I know Michael Jordan is very competitive. He loves owning teams and actually,
Yeah.
So, you know what? Good luck to him. Like, I never thought we might even see the number 23 in a car. Or
But that'd be
let me
cool.
look it up because that's
Yeah.
probably the thing now.
Yeah.
And
But-
I can't speak to how Michael Jordan's feeling or his own nervousness, but my dad races cars. He does like Formula One style racing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a very nerve-wracking sport. It is
Yeah.
very, very terrifying because so many things can go wrong. And if you're the owner, not only could you possibly lose your vehicle and your driver, but there's so many things that can go wrong that are so costly and also just like harrowing to go through.
Oh, and what do you know? The car, the logo
number
is
23?
23XXI.
Oh yeah, and they've got the Air Jordan logo on the
Oh,
back.
That's
nice.
awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty slick.
You should be a part of every sport. Just a little bit of Jordan in every sport never hurts anything.
There you go. Raymond Verada says, rest in peace, James Darren, who acted in classic films such as Gidget, Guns of Navarone. James has also starred in TV in different decades, such as Time Tunnel from the 60s, TJ Hooker from the 80s, Star Trek Deep Space Nine from the 90s, as the hologram crooner Vic Fontaine.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
I wish Rob was here to properly celebrate him.
All I
I'm
know
not
is I
familiar
heard
enough with his
Gidget.
work.
I heard
Yeah.
Gidget in that list, and I know my older sister loved that show. I think it was a show, and then it was a movie. Do you remember Gidget, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Or do you
Yeah,
remember
because they always had Gidget playing in on a oh my gosh, what's it called when they run like,
Oh, marathons?
well, not marathons, but like it's syndication.
Oh yeah.
okay.
So like syndication, it was like I Love Lucy, it was Gidget,
Yeah.
it was always the Brady Bunch would come on. This is even
Happy
into the
Days.
90s. Happy
Yeah.
Days.
Welcome back, Cotter.
Brady Bunch would hop on if I didn't already say that. And then
Bewitched,
like
I Dream of
Little
Jeannie.
House on the Prairie.
Yep.
The Monkeys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you think about it, there must have been like such a starvation for content back then compared to today because
Yeah.
things ran in syndication well into the 90s. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Crazy. We already read Raymond Fraud. Let me scroll up. Horse cow.
Nice.
I
Wow, you are.
do you know how
gifted.
tempted I was to whinny and then moo? Hi, John. Just graduated film school, so I'm going to TIFF this weekend. So
Ooh.
excited. I live in Australia for the first time. Oh, so first timer. So lives in Australia, so first timer. Already have tickets for 20 films, including Saturday Night, Night Bitch, and Mike Flanagan's Life of Chuck. However, $100 a ticket hurts.
Oof.
Ugh.
Now, wait a minute. $100 per ticket for each movie?
He goes on to say some of
Granted, some are 30 a ticket, but damn, festivals are an investment. Well, that is
Yeah.
true, music or otherwise. I think I spent around $600 in total. Still excited though. My question to you is, have you been to TIFF or any big film festivals? Any tips? I mean, I don't know that John has been to TIFF.
Yeah, I
don't
don't think
think he
Jonna has
has.
ever mentioned it.
Have you?
I haven't gone to any big ones like that. I've done small ones where, my stuff or my friend's stuff has been at. But yeah, it is costly. I've got a friend who's in a festival this weekend and it's going to cost us $50 to go see their short. And I just don't know if we can swing 2 of those tickets.
Yeah. I mean, even like something like a music festival like Coachella, it's like I drove there, so I don't have to like include airfare. But I
Yeah.
was easily in like for 1,000 plus. Sometimes as it went on, the cost went up 1,500.
Oh, sure.
So it's an investment.
Absolutely. Yeah. When I
know?
did Comic-Con, when I wasn't going as a professional and I was going as a fan, that was a $2,000 experience. And that's as a California local.
I do have like interest in going into one of the festivals. It's I don't know exactly what it's called. It's the big animation one where they showed Mutant Mayhem like early to them. It's
Ooh.
it starts with an
It's
A.
not an anime festival, right?
No, no,
though?
no. It's just animation.
Okay,
Like
in general.
recently we did a story where people watched Transformers One,
Oh, okay.
and we were getting little good positive reviews coming out of that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just forgot the name. I'm sorry.
Is
I'll
it
look
local?
That's
Do you
okay.
know, or
it
is it?
starts with an A. It's
Yeah.
something animation festival.
Yeah. All right, we'll figure it out and then we'll move on and we can talk about that. Enrique Montes has a two-parter. He says, "Hi, John. My wife isn't much of a movie fan like I am, so it's very special to me when we have a movie date. Last movie we saw was Trap and we liked it, but it really grinds my gears when 2 or 3 weeks after our date, the same movie is out on digital. It just makes us feel like the date was worth nothing." Well, I disagree with that, but don't movie theaters and studios know they are damaging the movie experience? Just with those final two words you say, I would say that you didn't waste it because you had the movie experience and you went there for that theater experience that you're just not going to get at home. I know there's some people like, I have the best sound system at home. I've got the best, like a great screen. It just doesn't compare to
it
like
doesn't.
a multi-million-dollar movie theater. And you got to spend time with your wife.
Yeah.
And it was a date. So you didn't waste your time.
Absolutely.
So that's number one. But speaking to that, I mean,
There's definitely times I've gone to movies and gone, I wish this was streaming because it was a commitment.
there are some movies that are like this movie I wanted to see called Skincare. And I didn't even get to see it because it was already up. But at the same time, it was really limited release. It was only like, I don't even think it hit 1,000 theaters.
Oh, dang.
So,
Okay.
and it only made like 450 grand. So I don't think its ultimate goal was to make money at the box
Yeah.
office. So there's some cases where that's just going to happen.
Sure.
But then there's other cases where it's like, this should have been out longer than 30 days.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I got a name for you guys. For the festival, it's called the Annecy International.
There's that A.
animation.
Ooh,
Annecy Festival.
Okay.
Where is that at?
I have no idea. That's what I'm looking up right now. But it feels like anytime there's like a big or even a smaller animated movie coming out, they bring even rough cuts of the movie like
Yeah.
to share it at this place.
Right.
And I like seeing how a movie is progressing
Yeah.
before it's the final release. I just think that's cool. Any animation festival actually I am interested in going to.
Cool. All right. Christian says, with the success of Inside Out 2, do you see Pixar making a third movie? Yes. 100%. What story and new emotions would you like to see? We got I know it was a joke, but they could still touch on it with what was the old lady character? It was like
was it senile or
no, it was like
When nostalgia.
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 Yeah,
There we go.
nostalgia.
Or Miss Nostalgia
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, you could see something like that. I'd like to see Riley in 10 years from now, and we are introduced to Love. What do you think? And whose voice would you like to hear as Love?
Mine. I'm selfish. No, that'd be cute. It'd be really great to see her in her college years having her first like actual real relationship.
Yeah,
But
so that would
also-
actually either put her in her final year of college, or like she just got out of college and now she's looking for a job or
Yeah.
something like that.
And
Which is like a setup for a lot of rom-com.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that are like in those years that are really touchy, but I'm pretty sure Pixar will find a way to make it sweet. And
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
For sure. We got Escaping Reality with a two-parter. Hi, John. One of the questions on yesterday about George R.R. Martin's upcoming post about House of the Dragon Season 2. I believe it's about HBO cutting Season 2 from 10 episodes to 8 episodes very late in the writing process. March 2023. Let me see. Oh, here it is. This was 1 month before the writer's strike, April of 23. So the writing team had no time to revise the season to end with the big battle they wanted. They were teasing as early as January of 23 on Variety about the biggest sea battle ever to be filmed on TV. To me, it works either way because we've seen episodes of Game of Thrones where all the chips fell where they had to fall and the ships were crossing the sea.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's with the Targaryens coming over the sea towards Westeros again. And that got a huge pop.
Yeah.
So we can end on a big cliffhanger.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Traditionally, that's what most shows do.
Yeah. Let's see. So I have to come back to Black Sith Wukong
Ooh.
says, I'm really enjoying Netflix's Terminator Zero so far. Just finished episode 5, 8, episodes 5, Oh, of 8, I guess. And John, I think you would appreciate the time travel physics explanation given. Super brutal and bloody, and Jeffrey Wright voicing the main guy. I mean,
Ooh, can I be John on this one?
yeah.
Fuck time travel. It's so stupid. I absolutely hate it.
And
Hockey, Canadian kids.
Yes.
and I'm sorry. Oh no, yeah, go ahead. Since we're talking about animation, and we're the Annecy Festival, it's in France, but it's in a place. The location is Annecy, France.
Okay.
So,
I didn't
my
know that was
God,
a,
like, I was
a
like,
town.
okay. I thought it was actually the name of like a company.
Go
or
anyway.
Yeah.
Go.
something. Yeah.
Have a fun trip.
But the Terminator. Here's the
Yes.
thing with Netflix and their animations. That's what I hate. Like sometimes I'll catch an animated series on Netflix and see that it's been out like a few months already. Like I really do wish they had like some sort of newsletter or something to keep people up to date with things that, you know, that have come out. Because a Terminator series, animated series, actually sounds interesting to me.
Yeah.
I would like to watch an episode or two.
I've heard good things about it. I'm excited to check it out.
Did this come out recently? It
Yeah.
had to.
Yeah, I binged so much other stuff over the weekend, though. I caught up on a bunch of anime that was going to leave Netflix. Kotaro Lives at Home, My Happy Marriage, this really great movie. And then I started watching Chaos. I'm like, I've got 20 minutes left, and it's so good. That Jeff Goldblum, like mythology show. It's amazing.
And Netflix also has a Tomb Raider animated series coming out. I believe a new Gundam series as well.
Yes, they do.
So I can't wait to see those two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We got Matan who says, I think why people falsely claim a film can earn $1 billion like Sonic 3 or Detective Pikachu is because Avatar MCU and live action Disney remakes made it look easy, no matter the final product. Well, I mean, whether you liked it or not, they weren't easy because making a film is not easy.
Yeah.
It's one of the most difficult things you could possibly do in terms of trying to entertain people. But I mean, we have had a lot of entries into the $1 billion, lineup. And I think people start to think, oh, well, that's just going to be $1 billion then.
Yeah.
So if it's a success, it's $1 billion. But if it's under $1 billion, it didn't quite make
flop.
success. Like
Yeah.
even 900 million, they're like, oh, it almost made it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not how it works.
Yeah. I think a lot of times, too, people conflate the IP with the project.
Right.
And so where
I tend to
it's
do
just-
something like that.
Yeah.
But
Oh my
you know
gosh.
what? Every time I say something's gonna make $1 billion, it just means I'm super excited for the film. I really don't mean it. I think I think Sonic 3 is gonna make $1 billion. I think Paddington
I don't.
3 is gonna make $1 billion. It's just a hype I have, but don't take that to DraftKings or anything.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen.
Don't take it to PrizePicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Price
All right.
picks.
Black Sith Wukong is back. Just finished Terminator Zero at 2:15 a.m. I'm not a traditional Terminator fan, but love this show, especially written with an awesome plot structure. Binged the whole thing in 1.5 nights.
Okay,
That's
great.
cool.
So people
I
are
think
liking
it's
it.
on Netflix, right?
It is on Netflix, yeah.
I gotta watch
I
the
need to
trailer.
watch it.
All right. Well, often lonely being right says, "Hey, John and gang, love the show. I heard a story that supposedly Josh Brolin was in talks to play Hal Jordan in the upcoming Lantern series. That's
sure did.
crazy. I can totally see him playing an older, more worn Hal, showing a 30-year-old John the ropes. Your thoughts? So he's wizened. He's wizened.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what all of us talked about with this before. Are you guys excited about that, or do you think it's an odd choice for Brolin to come in?
Oh, Hash Drolin.
I think we're already kind of coming into a DC universe that's established. So yeah, this just shows that a lot of time has passed, and there's, we're not not everybody just happens to be getting their origin story at the same time.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I think Glenn Powell should have been approached too for a Lanterns.
Well, this is just
Well,
a rumor.
we've got
First off, we
others.
don't have it like for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe he was approached at some point. Who knows?
maybe he was too busy twisting.
Yeah,
it
he's
up.
twisting and shouting. Anonymous says, "Hey, John, just had to laugh the other day when someone mentioned the Civil War airport battle having no stakes. Ask Rhodey about that." Oh, shots fired.
Oh, shots were fired and landed,
Yeah.
and we're awful.
Oh.
Well, what were the stakes what would have been the stakes if there were no stakes?
Well, you know what he.
So were
should
they
have
saying like, oh no, they like the one team didn't get decimated and die, or like
I guess.
that's not what it was about? It was simply like they were just trying to hold them back from moving forward to their goal.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so the stake was
Stop them.
to stop them from
Yeah.
what they thought was protecting a war criminal.
Exactly.
So Tony Stark should have held him back from hitting the ground.
2 hits, I hit you, you hit the ground.
Okay.
Boom.
Mr. Menace to Society with a $25 tip.
Thank you, Mr. Menace to Society.
Yes.
Hi, John and Magnificent crew.
Ooh.
Which do you think will happen first? A sequel to Edge of Tomorrow or a sequel to Alita Battle Angel? Saw Alien Romulus, totally loved it. May the Force be with you all. I mean, Edge of Tomorrow is in talks.
Yeah.
What's great about this is I wouldn't mind either one.
Yeah.
Like if someone said, "Hey, this is coming out tomorrow," I would love.
I mean, I would say that the likelihood, because of Tom Cruise's schedule and everything, that probably an Alita is more likely, because I think all involved would be more available.
Yeah.
So it's more of a logistics thing for me going with Alita.
Sure. Well, and we've seen the director express interest in going back to that and everything. I feel like Edge of Tomorrow did get momentum afterwards, after all the crazy, like, what's the name of this movie?
Right.
What is this movie, etc. But yeah, Alita feels a little more likely to me.
We got Sam Fisher, who says, my question about this Harry Potter series is, do you get Jared Harris to play Dumbledore? Would he even want to play the part his dad played? He might. A bigger question to me is, with any of these actors, do they want to commit 7 years?
Yeah.
So,
And
you know.
also Jared Harris. I mean, Dumbledore, you can age him up easily, but still, you got to age him up to be.
You know what I liked about, obviously it was awful that Richard Harris passed away.
Yeah.
But the tone shift too. And I always felt like, I don't think that Richard Harris would have had that same tone needed as Michael Gambon did
Yeah.
in the later, like, Half-Blood Prince. Well, obviously they met his fate there, but
Yeah.
but even before that, like Order of the Phoenix, I didn't see him going toe to toe
Sure.
with Voldemort the way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, he was a very kind, gentle Dumbledore, and Gambon did a really good job, I think, of playing some of those. Like, it's messed up.
It's a
that
gray,
he was-
it's a gray zone.
Yeah.
Real gray.
Yeah. And I know everyone
Yeah.
always clips out that, like, moment where he goes, "Did you put your name in the goblet of fire?" Because it's supposed to be in the book said, like, quietly, which I thought was always such a weird
Who
thing.
cares?
to
It's
harp
an
on. It's a
adaptation
choice.
to screen.
And
so.
also, if it is a high stakes moment, talking about high stakes, do you want someone to very calmly be like, "Harry, did you do this?" Or do you want to create that momentum in a scene?
And also because they were trying to isolate Harry, so now Dumbledore's yelling at him in front of everybody. That further isolates the character, as opposed to, like, he's playing favorites.
Yeah,
I'd scream at that a-hole, but you,
exactly.
you're the chosen one.
Yeah.
Getting back on track, I think Harris, the younger, has the capability of being both of those types of.
Oh, for sure. I
yeah.
mean, he played Moriarty. He'd be great.
Yeah.
He'd be wonderful.
So Sam Fisher says, no, we read that one. CM Waters says, Doomsday and most recently Nova have been said in interviews to play out like ensemble pieces. What do you think this means, and how do you think it'll be different from previous Marvel projects? I didn't know that about Nova, playing out like an ensemble piece.
I mean, that makes sense if it's focusing on the Nova core as
Yeah,
opposed
yeah,
to the
definitely.
individual we know as Nova from the comics.
Definitely.
So that makes sense to me. I feel like then it just kind of means it's more of the team ups we've come accustomed to seeing with Marvel movies. You know,
Yeah.
all the Avengers kind of things, or even you know, Endgame and all of that.
Wasn't John C. Reilly a part of the Nova Corps?
He was, and I was wondering the other day, and I don't know if you guys know this or if you guys know this in the audience. Is he dead? Is he dead because
We
of what
never
happened
saw-
with
yeah.
Thanos and everything?
We never actually saw him die.
No.
But
Because like after the snap readjustment.
right.
Who are we talking
So
about?
John C. Reilly's character, his Nova Corps
Remember?
character,
I think it was Guardians 2. Was it Guardians
no, he died.
2?
he died.
Oh, because he was a part of that big shield, right? That
I'm
they
pretty
said-
sure they implied he died.
Oh man.
Wow,
Yeah.
Jonathan. But
Yeah,
did they?
for
was it
heartbreak
sure?
purposes.
Like, I want proof.
Yeah.
Give me death certificate.
I want to know.
I mean, I haven't seen him in Playgirl magazine, so I think he's dead.
Oh, okay, Honcho.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a reference to
Me, Mike Honcho.
Talladega Nights reference there
Me, Mike Honcho. Spread my butt cheeks
for Playgirl.
for Playgirl.
Just wanted you to know that. Jello21 says, saw After Sun. It was emotional and deep. Really makes you think the struggles your parents go through with themselves while also trying to raise you. have kids and you'll understand that. It's for sure. It made me have a deep conversation with my father, and I feel this is what films are supposed to do. Have you seen it? I want to just touch on one thing about this. It's kind of a side. He says, this is what films are supposed to do. Oftentimes, films are meant to emote questions from the audience. They may have a message. It doesn't mean they're woke because they have a message. It's not supposed to just be like booms and explosions and maybe some sex scenes. And that's a real movie with no message. If you go back, every film has a message.
Yeah.
Just wanted to touch on that real quick.
Even the Minecraft one,
So
theoretically.
good
though.
pointing that out, Jello 21.
Yeah.
And if there's a film that actually pushes you to have your relationship,
There's
make your relationship
For
stronger,
sure.
or like rethink your family or your friends and actually want to better what you have, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and we've seen other films where, you know, you're dealing with the struggles of your parents or like relationships that are kind of torn asunder that are kind of patched back together or whatever. It's important. I mean, it's what it does is it's an exercise in empathy, which is stepping outside of yourself and understanding like you have pain, maybe they have pain.
Exactly.
And sometimes films
how do I
open
relate
your
to that?
eyes to what someone else is going through that you could never relate to, whether it's because you're you're watching a film about a woman and a man can never know what a woman has to go through, or vice versa. It brings perspective in a way where I think it makes people better,
Yeah.
or
Absolutely.
at least more aware of what's going on, and not
Sure.
so I don't know.
Yeah. Did either of you see After Sun?
No, I have
Okay.
not.
I was gonna say I haven't seen. I just know that Paul Mescal is supposed to be incredible in it. This was a solidifying him as a star kind of thing, is
Wow.
what I had heard.
Gladiator,
So.
right?
Well, yeah, the kid who's gonna be Gladiator. Yeah.
Gladiator.
Tyler Fletcher says, after all these years, I'm finally watching all of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Last night, I just finished 2, and my God, it might actually be my favorite adventure movie of all time.
Wow.
Really, you like 2 more? I mean, I guess I
Wow.
kind of see that in terms of just like they upped the budget. The first one is still my favorite.
I haven't
The
seen
fight
any.
on the spinning wooden wheel was awesome. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
really cool. I mean, there was some like in the first one. There's definitely like they insinuate the action by making the cuts to like show the feet move, show the sword swing, show this. It's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of like, I don't want to say it's basic or anything. It's not, but it's just your main way of showing like action.
Yeah.
Whereas when you can do these choreographed stunts that you can step back and see it's all happening,
Sure.
you know, and then get in tight for some of the other shots. It's like, you know, they're not kind of cheating to like save budget. So yeah, I agree with you. Number 2 was a step up in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I like the overall story of 1. Production value, number 2. I gotta say, from 3 on, I just didn't like it.
Oh, really?
I started like, I just started losing like, what's going on here? Why is this happening? And then ultimately, I didn't like what happened with,
Oh, sure.
you know,
Yeah. With
I'm like, that. So see you in 50 years. That's kind of weird, but okay.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. Anyway, I don't want to give anything away.
You just did it right. Spoiler.
Yeah, I know.
You ruined it.
But who sees who in that time? Ah.
I think I had missed Matan here.
Okay.
So let me go back here. The season premiere of Only Murders in the Building was 38 minutes. Today's episode was 36. If you live in the USA, then you can get it on the same service as Acolyte. Marvel and Star Wars has serious skill issues with the runtimes. I would agree with you in terms of Marvel and Star Wars and what they're doing, but this is a situational comedy in a way. It's not quite like a multi-camera situational comedy, but still, it's a comedy and it's meant to have a short runtime.
Absolutely. Well, comedy's all about timing.
Yeah.
And so you need to have that pace. And when you have legends like Steve Martin and Martin Short too, it's fast quips and everything like that. That's what works so well here.
And it's supposed to be light
Yeah.
in a sense.
It's light with murders.
Yeah.
I
And
need
they-
to catch up. I haven't watched these last 2 episodes, or these first 2 episodes, I should say, of this new
And,
season.
and it feels like, I think this is what they're kind of trying to do. It feels like it's like a murder mystery play.
A little bit,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
With a little bit of like something you're familiar with now, some radio drama, you know?
Yeah,
Which
absolutely.
they just touch on podcasting, obviously.
For sure.
Like they are podcasters, and podcasters, this is the one cool thing. This is a bit of a side note, but this is the one cool thing that I love about podcasting. And people are like, oh, it's all the thing now. It's like, well, it's actually a rehashing, and like you're podcasting with Amy, and it's like, it's rehashing back to the days of radio. You know, and you have a more personalized connection with the people speaking. Even if
Absolutely.
even if there is a video element on YouTube or wherever, I like that. And so,
Pump up the volume, baby.
For sure.
yeah. That would have been actually a great time to want to talk about your little
Oh
podcast.
yeah, I've
Why
got
not?
a podcast with Amy Newman, who you all love. Two Filthy Casuals. We have a super fan come on our show to talk about their fandom, so you guys can ask your questions and dip your toe in sans judgment, because it can be really hard to get into a new fandom with all that gatekeeping out there.
That sounds fun.
It's super
That sounds
fun.
great.
This week, what we're going to drop on Friday is a bananas episode about Death Stranding that absolutely melted my brain. So it's going to be a good time.
See, I love how you guys touch on like so many things, so it's cool.
Thanks, Mia.
Yeah. Sam Fisher, my question. Oh, we did that because I had to go down to Matan, who
Yeah.
I missed. We did Jello. We did that. Okay, Ghazi Q. Hi, John. Do A-list actors still audition for movies, or are there movies tailored for a specific actor? I can't imagine A-list actors still go to auditions. Could you please explain this situation?
Ooh, I'm
You're-
actually well suited
Yeah,
for this.
you can do this one. Take
So
it.
there's actually a great video on Instagram going around of Natalie Portman talking about this, of how a lot of these A-listers don't audition anymore. They get just straight offers. We'll hear this a lot, kind of offer only, of certain actors do not audition. They just want scripts handed to them.
Wow, that was sorry. I was not supposed to hit that.
Offer only. Pew, 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 pew. So then they just get offered these roles.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with that is then if people see you a certain way, you will be typecast.
Right.
And so Natalie Portman talks about this of just, there's this issue with it sometimes of her having to ask if she can be considered and if she can audition for things, because people will think this is all she's capable of, but she'd love to give this a go.
And I'm trying. This is me speaking out of like no experience or whatever, but maybe sometimes auditions, A-listing or auditions for A-listers, may be a good idea because of the Mad Max movie with Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron. Maybe it's for chemistry reasons. I believe that would be a
Sure.
great reason for A-listers to want to come in and audition just to see if they get along
Yeah.
with who they're about to do a movie with, or
Well, and what's bananas
So
too
like
is you can-
chemistry, like
chemistry.
Yeah, you can have great chemistry with somebody who you absolutely hate, though.
Right.
You can have a really great time with them on screen, and then in real life, not so much.
Look at Golden Girls. I don't know if people know this, but
Mm-hmm.
B. Arthur and oh my gosh, I'm gonna.
Was it?
She played Rose.
Yeah,
Betty White.
Betty White. There we go.
Like there was like some animosity there, but you'd never know it on the show.
no, because they're
so.
delightful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're professional.
Great actors.
And I guess they're A-listers. They know how to do it most of the time. We get those few stories where people don't get along
Yeah.
and you're like, how? We never saw it on screen, but
Yeah,
people are
but certain
people.
bigger projects, they do go through auditions, or they will kind of do those chemistry tests to see if the cast meshes well together. And then you've got, journeyman actors like myself who are always auditioning, and then you find out that you're auditioning for stuff that are going out as offers to other people, which is always a fun thing to learn.
ABA, always be auditioning.
Always be auditioning.
And it's insane.
Always be in class.
You
That's
know
the
what's
big one.
insane?
Yeah.
It's like there's on the first Iron Man, the special edition like DVD, like there's actually video of Robert Downey Jr. actually auditioning for the part, which is insane now to see how far because that was his first big thing coming back, right?
Yeah.
Like his first chance.
It was a
everything.
big gamble.
But it's just weird how you look at that and then look at where he's at now, where he's demanding like he could get all this money and they bring him back, like, like they took a chance on him, but now he's like the poster boy for
Yeah.
the actual studio.
We got Jamesy Boy with a two-parter. I'm glad to see Ray back.
Oh, thank you.
And sorry to have missed him and Chris when I messaged last, but
Aw.
glad to still be around with a couple of good Johns. My 30th was great. Got a ton of food around town with my fiance,
Good.
who got us tickets to the Lion King play.
Ooh, the stage show's so fun.
First play I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Lion King.
Part 2, glad to hear about Rings of Power. I like you, wasn't a huge fan of season 1, as I found no interest to return once I got halfway. What's either y'all's favorite play you've been to, or a fun story about your 30th birthdays? Thanks so much. I'll just keep it. I've seen a lot of great plays,
Same.
but since he's mentioning a musical, I'm just gonna keep it on musical.
Sure.
And when I saw Ragtime, I was going back to the 90s, but I fell in love with Ragtime. And remember getting the soundtrack and listening to it all the time. Yeah, so that was a big, just in terms of big production musicals.
Oh man.
But I mean, we could say any play. I don't know.
Yeah,
What are
I was
your?
gonna say I was super fortunate to see the Broadway cast of Spamalot.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was just wild. And also, a lot of people probably would be like, "Oh, what a terrible seat." I was in the very front row, but off to a side.
Uh-huh.
But it was great because I could see backstage.
That's so cool.
And I could see them all like goofing around
Yeah,
with
yeah,
each
yeah,
other
yeah.
or like
That's
hyping each other
half the
up.
show then.
Yeah,
You
and it
got-
was so fun. And also when I went and saw that, Eric Idle was there that night, and he ran out of the women's bathroom on our like, oh, we all were lining up
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
in,
yeah.
and it was magical. Just being like, oh my god, one of the Monty Pythons
Does
is
it?
actually here.
I don't know if you know this, and I could be getting it wrong, but I thought Taylor had told me he used to work at a bookstore, and Eric Idle used to come in
Oh, I don't
and
know that part.
and buy like get books from there, and they would talk, and they actually even had correspondence.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm so jealous right now because I would love to be on a correspondence level with
He's
Eric
delightful.
Idle.
I added him once on Twitter about the bathroom situation, and he was like, "Stop telling people my business and happy birthday." It was great.
Yeah.
Book of Mormon for me. I really
Okay.
like that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a great one.
But I haven't seen many, so
Well, it's a good one.
Oh man, Center Theater Group. If y'all want any shows here in LA, oh my gosh, they do a great job. It's always the touring shows, and they're super, super fun.
Nice. Garden Variety Vagabond says, "Wow, the Rotten Tomatoes score for Reagan is 22% versus the audience score of 98. My only guess is that only those who would really want to see the story of Reagan saw the film. If it wasn't for you, you didn't see it, and therefore that wasn't the audience score." I could see that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I could see that.
You
Yeah.
just have to be really pro Reagan, I guess, and
Yeah.
go, yeah,
I
what a
mean,
great film.
I don't even mind something like that. I would have been like open to. I'm open to seeing a story about anyone's
Yeah.
life.
Absolutely.
I don't, so I don't know. I just I also feel like when I watched the trailer and just like things I've seen about it, it feels like it's more of a little bit of a propaganda-ish kind of
Yeah.
thing.
That's how I felt.
And so I'm like, hey, tell the story, tell the good sides, tell the bad sides, whatever. But yeah, I think there was maybe some ulterior motives
Yeah,
there.
it felt a little softballed.
Yeah, whatever. That's
fine.
cool.
That's
But
the story they wanted to
I'm
tell.
glad they enjoyed it. Anonymous says, question for John and Jonathan.
Ooh.
Okay. What are your thoughts on WBD scrutiny with media analysts and the public? The consensus is Zaslav taking it downhill fast in every way. Is there merit or overblown? And do you think 2025-26 will be their triumphant return? Well, I think they're already on the uptick, WBD,
Yeah.
and especially with working with Gunn now and his DCU and everything. I don't really have much to say about that in terms of media analysts and the public. I mean, I'd have to be a little more well versed on the topic. So I'm sorry, I know you called me out on that, but
I do find it strange we stopped getting news about David Zaslav. You know,
well,
we had
a lot of that was surrounding the strikes,
right,
and the
and,
drama.
yeah,
That's
but
negative.
it's just one of those things where it's just
Yeah.
wow, is he even the
Oh,
head
yeah.
of WB?
Oh,
I mean,
dude,
he's
As you
still
can see,
there.
he's still rocking the maxophone. So yeah, he's still rocking it strong.
Oh, if you only had the
This
graphic.
dude, yeah,
Oh, you do.
this dude is happy,
Yeah,
man.
There
Just
he is.
tooting
He's like,
around.
I'm back.
I'm back, baby.
Say
So-
my name 3 times. I'm back.
Yeah, there you go.
Maxophone.
Maxophone. All right, moving quickly on from that. Sorry I couldn't answer your question. I'll look into that and maybe get back to you.
There you
All right,
go.
Matan. This is always, I'm gonna.
Sorry.
All right, Matan is our last question of the day, and I didn't get to pre-screen it, so who knows what we're stepping into here.
Oh,
Ooh, okay.
The rumors, he loves keeping it spicy. The rumors that Luca Guadagnino is doing a DCU film shows that, unlike the MCU, it is going to respect the auteurs. Based on Scorsese plied. Based and Scorsese plied. And it's going to have sex in it. The MCU is sex averse to point of it being creepy. I don't think it might be creepy of us saying that it's creepy that they're averse to it.
Listen, they tried. They put a sex scene in the Eternals, and most of y'all panned that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tried it,
So yeah.
and I don't think it's sex averse in any way, shape, or form. Too, we're just not getting explicit sex scenes.
Yeah.
Now, if you would like to have those in the films, I don't think they would detract, but I also don't see how they would add particularly. Like, I don't need to see Pepper and Tony in bed.
Well, we've seen
to
them
know
in-
that they have chemistry.
We've seen them in bed.
Yeah,
but
but I
like
don't need
it's
to
like
see-
okay, they sleep with each other.
exactly.
And then he has to stop his robots from killing her.
I mean,
Yeah.
and remember the first Iron Man where he was leaving the little
Oh, he
place,
definitely-
and then he actually
Yeah.
took
Yeah.
that girl, the reporter home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was there. I mean,
He definitely has some Bruce Wayne moments,
Right.
like
For
that.
sure. So
And-
I don't.
I mean,
man,
do
who
we
wants
need
to
to have
see
a sex scene with like
Black
with
Widow and Hulk.
Okay,
Especially-
maybe, but I was gonna
especially
say
Big
is
Hulk.
between Hawkeye and his wife, like we understand they have a good marriage and
Yeah.
they have children, and like I don't have to see them getting it on to know they love each other.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a way that it's not shoehorned into any of these films.
And forced in or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they do more stuff like that in the future, there's nothing wrong with it, you know? Depending on how they do pairings in the future, if we see, Reed and Sue getting it on, or if we see Johnny Storm hooking up with, like, maybe if they go the Kitty Pryde route,
Right.
I can understand that. But again, I don't see what the significance of having that explicitly in the film
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
help with.
But then I guess just getting
I'm not
to,
sure.
to his other part, just that DCU is like leaning towards our auteur-based kind of like storytelling.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean,
I'm super into that.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So I'm excited just to see where the whole thing goes.
Absolutely.
For people like my friend, like what? How would you describe auteur? What is that? What my friend was asking me over here.
Oh, his friend over there?
Yeah.
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 I just
Your little buddy?
just want to see if you guys know what that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just someone who like takes a front seat to their own film. I mean, they kind
Yeah.
of oversee their own, like, they have a lot of say in how their film is going to go.
They
It's
have a
written, it's
Very
directed
specific
by
style too.
Oh,
yes.
Like
Okay.
Wes
They're-
Anderson, right? You know what a Wes Anderson movie looks
Quentin
like.
Tarantino.
And that's
like,
what he's saying.
Yeah.
That
yeah,
people are saying
it's
are
going to
gonna
be
the
his
DC.
style and not shoehorned
Yeah.
into like a
Right.
studio style.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know?
Or when you see the Marvel movies, a lot of times there is that cohesion where it does feel a little bit like, were these made by a lot of the same people? And
Sure.
the answer is yes. But it does have that Marvel glossiness to it.
Right.
And he's absolutely right. And I say this as somebody who typically prefers Marvel. DC has made some real interesting choices and big swings.
Yeah.
And that's exciting to see in films. And especially with your fandoms. Anytime you reimagine a fandom that is solidly solidified, it's really cool to see somebody else's interpretation
It
of
is kind of weird with Marvel because it's like a lot of people are like, oh, they're always playing it safe. They didn't take big swings, and then they take big swings, and people are like, don't
don't
take
like
a big
it."
swing.
Yeah.
You should have played that safe. What's wrong with you? It's like, well, what do you want?
Exactly.
That's
But,
will be so interesting to see the Superman when it comes out.
I'm
Just to
very
see
intrigued.
where he's going with it, because James Gunn, he could do the
It has to set the tone for the DCU.
Adventures of Superman and Lois, like that
Yeah.
that animation. He could completely go by that,
Yeah,
or we'll see. Who knows?
we'll see. But
Is that all
that's
our
it.
questions?
That's
All right.
it. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
hand it off to you, Chris.
Wonderful. Well, guys, that will do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in to this show and this end portion of the non-Campea show. We're so glad you were here, and thanks for sending in your questions because we can't do the show without you. I want to thank the people in the room, Ray Ora.
I want to wish Chris a happy belated birthday. I wasn't here, so I just wanted to say that.
Thanks,
So,
buddy.
Yeah, he had some rib issues.
yeah, I had to
Yeah.
have it that week,
So rib
That's okay.
malfunction.
and I felt so horrible. But you know
John
what?
on air was like, Ray's not here because he hates
We saved you a bottle.
No.
We saved you a bottle. It's
Oh.
empty, but we saved you a
Oh
bottle.
well, yes. Well, thank you.
We
John.
skipped going to the bar though, since we were like, well, Ray's not here,
That's
and
true.
also we just split a bottle of champagne, so let's not drive to a bar.
Well, I'm glad you guys.
We were very responsible. Mhm. And of course, Jonathan Voico.
All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow, and hopefully these tech issues with our internet gets fixed soon. We can go back to live, but in the meantime, I hope you're enjoying these.
Yeah. And I am Chris Carr. I will be back here Friday once again, but otherwise, John Campea will be back hosting the show for you tomorrow. Thanks so much. Be kind and courteous and curious. See ya.